Welcome, everyone, to the 244th weekly MLP Drawing School thingy maflob. You know,
Yeah, I lost it.
yeah, I fell off the train here. It hurt the entire way it dragged me.
Oh no.
It's like November 3rd, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, not daylight's time.
And there's nothing special going on today.
Nothing of
Just a
importance,
regular
really.
day. No.
Just, yeah.
Yesterday I had a spooky dentist appointment, so I've been dreading November because of that, but now it's the 3rd, and I'm like, here we are in the future.
And now our video's taken down. Great.
I don't know what the time is anymore. It's a mystery.
Yeah, I got a nat 1 on my speech check there. It's fine. It's fine. We'll get over it one day. So,
Maybe.
as you can hear, we got a horde of goblins with us.
I
How do you
prefer the
know?
term
I'm a gremlin,
gremlin.
not a goblin. Very planned. We have we have many times. I also rolled an at 1 on speech because I forgot what I was gonna say next. We have many times.
We do.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, starting at the bottom of the list alphabetically, we got Princess Fluffy's Eye, princess of all the goblins.
Wait, my plushie said it to goblins. Oh no, I thought we were past the spooky stuff.
No, goblins are just regular spook. Not.
Or maybe they're all plushies anyway. All gremlins and goblins are plushies. There we go.
Wait, you did not know it was alphabetical? Oh gosh. Followed right after that, we got Pixie Nub, who's obviously the Goblin King, wearing that codpiece and singing about dancing.
Good morning, mates from Australia. Yeah, let's do some pony things and draw some ponies and be like, you know what I mean? Yeah, should be good.
Yeah.
This is the David Bowie I am okay with.
Excuse me, Daniel Bowie.
And we got CPC, who's apparently like just a gremlin, so don't feed her after night and definitely don't get her wet.
Gremlin.
No,
Yeah.
she's a copyright-free
Also,
gremlin. It's a different
I am a
type.
gremlin
Oh.
with no sense of time, but even I can tell it's dark, so it's good night. Good night, everyone.
And then, last but certainly not least, we got Alley Claw, the other gremlin, who's probably
Hell
just like hiding in the wires beneath your computer, slowly pulling them out, laughing.
This is a cup of water, not my tears.
Ali already got to my computer.
Ali is the reason my stream breaks every week.
Yeah,
Every Friday.
Also, what do you mean last, LD? There's another person here, and it's a zombie. It's you.
Oh. Vote him out. He's sus. Sus. He's
I'm
Oh,
a
no.
gremlin, not a goblin.
I was relevant to the kiddos.
Yeah! Alright, and as normal, if you got any art you'd like critiqued, please fire it towards our face at high speed, or email it to us, or, snail mail.
That's pretty high speed.
I prefer carrier pigeon.
Yeah. The problem with carrier pigeons is certain flight paths, you bring them over, they just get shot.
Oh no.
Don't shoot the birds.
And with that, dancing people, let's zoom in on the first one. So we're gonna do.
You can't tell me when to zoom,
Okay.
but I choose to.
Then enhance.
Enhance. I can see every pixel. To be
Is it
honest,
top
it's not very
left?
It's
difficult.
bottom left actually, because they're currently in
Oh.
our chat.
Oh,
And as
I guess I'm
Oh,
in the
hello.
wrong place. Where is left?
Started from the bottom. Now we're
So-
here.
CPC, stick your hands out so you can see the backs of them.
Yeah, no, I just looked which hand has the pen, and the left is the other one.
Also, look at
I'm
the fact that
holding
there's
a pen,
two rows
fine.
and only one side of them has a picture on it on the bottom.
Well, the other one says 244.
No logic allowed. All right, Zara.
I'm being bullied. Zai, I'm gonna make a beware.
You've only drawn 2 ponies before your submission this week. You should draw more ponies. That's
We're
my
biased
critique
like
for
that.
you. Like, not even just like casually off the cuff. I mean, seriously, just pump out pictures. Just keep grinding through them. You should be living, breathing, eating horse at this point. That's
Or else.
There's also a human in there. Yeah, I don't know what that thing is.
There's this thing with a mirror, I think, and they sort of get longer legs. You know, there's just something in there.
Is that the one you walk in to multiply yourself?
No, different mirror.
Oh.
The one that brings you to the alien high school.
What did I come back to? I had to step away from my headphones briefly. I am so lost.
Equestria Girl is out of context.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but seriously, draw more, draw often. Make sure you're using your references to the fullest of their uses. And not just single reference. Single reference usually ain't enough. You want to make like a collage of horse. Just so much horse that people are like, damn, dude, that's a lot of horse. You're going to be like, never enough horse. That's how many
And
horse
you're
references.
like, horse, of course. Lots of horse.
Yeah. Puns are important.
Horse,
very
horse,
very
horse.
interesting cutie mark. It's
I
not like a cutie mark normally. It's normally a cutie mark's like a piece of clip art, you know. But it's interesting. I like the design of it. I wonder what it means. Maybe you could tell me.
I mean, I
It's
remember
not-
if I scroll, they said, yeah,
that-
we
that-
just want don't work in the void feedback. So
So nothing too in particular. But it's good, still good ponies. Still good
Yeah.
horses. I'm just
My-
doing some like random rough stuff on top of it, so don't mind me too much.
my advice for not wanting to work in the void, just work on whatever you want. If you want to work on backgrounds, pick background elements to work on. I don't know if you remember, a few times there was like background drawing draw-alongs and just took references and tried to recreate them. And it's just kind of like
I've
studying.
been doing that and then I stopped. Sorry.
It's okay, no, it's okay. I'm just showing as an example. Like, if you really do want to work in an environment, you can do stuff like working on thumbnails, like just working on the composition of an environment. Or I don't know, if you draw a pony, make it always interacting with an object, or like a human, make it always do something, interact with something, or stand somewhere, like not just floating in the void. Draw what they're sitting on or draw what they're standing on, even if it's just a line, just something so that there's that interaction point. Because while it's fun to draw in the void, if you do want to get more into like not voiding, not just like, "Mommy dearest, don't put me in the void," if your image speaks to you, yeah, just give them something to interact with. Practice with that.
And if you're just looking to, have somewhere to share things, feel free to always just dump stuff into the art channel. Because there's always people in there. Should be a good time.
You can also start your own draw-alongs, because some people are not reliable. Make them
CPC.
every day. So
Yeah, I'm just doing some vague sorts of simplifying shapes and all that sort of stuff with this sort of expression on the head. Normally when you draw this sort of thing, where one eye is like super up and the other eye is like crunched down, the eyebrows will sort of follow a similar path. So like eyebrow, because this like eyebrow is literally crunching down the eye, and that's why this eyelid is a whole lot lower. So instead of boom and boom, 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 crunch. Yeah, it just helps
It's
push
muscles.
the face a bit more. Yeah. I like
Muscles
this
in the face.
line that you've done here, where you've just, had this bit of like headlock, forelock, kind of, whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called. But it's pretty good. With this belly, when you're looking at this belly sort of region from this sort of angle, this belly will usually show up in front of most other things. And then this will sort of tuck below it usually. But reference is good for that.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, most of it's just smoothing things out, to be honest. Very sort of muscly kind of character. If you do look at horses, the whole front here, like this area right here, is like very buff. So if you want to like jump into that, you can like look at real horses and be like working all that stuff out, because there's a lot of really interesting sort of like muscle and forms and stuff there. So that can be somewhere interesting to mess around with. But yeah, good horse.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
You got any follow-up questions for us? Yeah, it's having an issue with the bit.
Yeah, that's the thing, and bulk biceps is kind of pushed very, very, very extreme for comedic value. Yeah. It might help to look in general. Yeah, like look at how the sort of stallions in the show differ from the mares in the show, and just kind of exaggerate some of those details while not exaggerating some other ones, and try to find like a decent medium there. But I think you find it in this pretty well. Pushing this to be bigger is good.
Yeah, I think in general, horses themselves, if you really want muscular, will be your best influence. Like, observe how the muscles of the horse works and kind of like fit those lines into the MLP proportions. Because horses themselves are just muscular beasts. Like glass, made out of glass, but they're muscular beasts.
Horses go off.
Horse.
Also, I love how this is pencil and stuff. Traditional things are just amazing to me, and I love them. Yeah, don't be scared of just, randomly throwing on weight and mass wherever. You don't need to learn all the super technical details.
I never did a lot of studies into actual like muscle anatomy. It would definitely be very useful. I'm really not good at like studying the human form yet. But that's it's learning to learn, and it's if it's something you struggle with and you're being put off right now, it's probably worth finding a different approach than trying to force yourself in a way that's putting you off doing it at all. So yeah, if you're reluctant about learning muscle groups, just don't worry too much about that. Like, study the shapes specifically that people use, and you can find a way to learn.
And like, even you don't even, I don't know. For me, I've never been one to straight up learn like muscle groups and know the names of the muscles and the bones and the structure. I'm more of an observant person, so I prefer to just look at the image and compare to the reference I'm using. So it's like,
Yes.
if I draw something, I'm not necessarily remembering the exact lines and where they go, but the feeling of where things bulge out, where things kind of I'm very much a feelings artist, where it comes to that kind of stuff. You're not going to see me memorizing stuff, but you're going to see me learning and getting a feel for it and breaking things down
Yeah.
and using references like crazy. And there's nothing wrong with using references, so just get
It's
them.
it's important to learn that, like, to realize that people learn differently, and that's true for art as much as it is with anything else. And some people love to sort of mathematically break everything down. Like, oh, let's use like different head shapes as the height measurement, like LD has done in the past on the streams, which is very, very helpful for some people. Other people, not so much, and it's more you might be more of a feelings artist. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah, I'll just chuck some stuff there. Generally, human anatomy has like a lot of analogies and analogous parts in like animals, so something like Progo can be useful. There's also some really, really interesting like creature concept artist videos out there where like they break down how different animals work and then how to modify that anatomy and then work out how all the ligaments go and how the muscles should properly work to actually like make the thing move and all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of interesting stuff out there if you want to dig into it. But if you want to look at references and just do it from that direction as well, that's all good. Everyone does it differently. I'm about half. I like drawing from references and just winging it, but then sometimes watching a couple of videos and being like, that's how that works.
That's how I use a pen. I've just been beating it against the paper.
I thought you ate it and then you gained the ability to make drawings appear.
Yep.
No, that's the art books.
Yeah, so the method, the thing, I don't even, okay, so I had a horse reference up, I was looking at the bodies, and I also was thinking about bulk biceps here. This is where I took the bulk biceps as inspiration. Everything is defined with muscles, right? There's no soft curves like ponies usually have, because you want that like built up, like your skin is stretching onto those muscles, so it's very like taut, and it's very like just there's like chunks almost, it feels like it just like giving it build up, very hard edges, because it's like you want to get rid of that softness, because usually someone with muscles, they're not soft, they're very hard. Like you grab them and it's like, oh, there's nothing to squish here.
I wonder what that's like. That's like the opposite of me.
So yeah, I just played around with like these aren't even like correct anatomy. This was me as an artist just being like, okay, so the butt, I really want to get a defined blocky butt, and then like do some muscles on the arms and like give that like chest. The chest is always a good one to like get muscles going into.
It is an interesting thing because like the thing part of the design with ponies is that they don't have a straight line on them anywhere. It's all curves. It's all designed to be visually soft and appealing. Like the colors are just like very pastel and inoffensive, and just everything's meant to be gentle and pleasing to look at. So yeah, it's interesting to try and think about how adding muscles, making a muscly pony is sort of going against that and making it look more rigid and defined. It's the same thing, you can see it with actual horses too. Like it's interesting to look at. Anything else?
It's hard to push and do all that sort of stuff. But it's good that you're like messing around with like different body styles and all that. Yeah.
This kind of stuff comes with time, so don't put the cart before the horse, as per se. Like just enjoy, keep drawing. I know it's hard. I know you mentioned that it's just hard, and it absolutely is hard sometimes.
Yes.
But don't. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. And I don't know if that can make people happy and sad, but it's really okay. Just keep enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
But don't feel like, oh no, it's not happening fast enough.
Oh my god, I've been at this for 10 years and I can still only partially draw a horse. It takes its dear sweet time, but there's a point where it gets a lot of fun. And you're like, ooh, I got horse, and people like horse. Ooh. Same with anything.
Something I've sort of realized as an artist is that when you're younger, it's like everything's hard and everything's really difficult to draw because I'm just like not developed as an artist yet, so I need to learn, and like one day this won't be so hard anymore. And then as an artist that has relatively had a long a relatively long amount of time of experience, I've learned that it kind of is always hard. It never gets easier. It's just that your ability to do things goes up, sure, but then the difficulty of everything you're doing goes up as well. It never stops being hard, but you do get better, and it does sort of get easier in some abstract ways, and it also just gets more fun. So there are definitely changes, but just because it's difficult doesn't mean that you're in any way like not developed enough, or like you haven't reached that point yet. Like you're not in any way behind anyone. Like you're just where you're meant to be, and it's just a case of learning and growing.
Yeah, it's always that thing of trying to draw what's in your head, and then by the time you can draw that, what's in your head is like better now, and so it's like oh,
I'm
now I
glad
need
you've
to catch up.
been enjoying yourself, Sarah Gamba.
Catching
Sounds
yourself,
good.
I mean, enjoying yourself is good. Keeping yourself
Yes.
motivated is awesome.
Typing, filling the gap, typing. At least when it's someone in Discord, we can see when they're responding. Picato was just like, let's just wait and see. Then we've also got to wait for like the delay. Well, if there's no other questions you have. There are so many things tangled on my desk right now. Oh my god. Well, cool. Move to more poems. Yes, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
All right, top left-hand corner.
Top left.
Someone's already oohed it.
Excuse me, that's an IWO. They're very differently.
This is by
Very
Pufindi. And it is, hello, I haven't made a post here in a while, but I hope you guys like it. Critique, please.
I just want to start off. I keep looking at it, and I love this little nose shine on Dash. Like I don't know what it is, that specific nose shine I'm in love with. It's just like the right fade of everything, and the little nosy shine. It's so good.
I like that the texture you've used is consistent through the entire picture. Like the background, the shading, all using that same textured brush that you've used. It's good to be consistent about it. Sometimes people will just drop on, a sort of textured feeling to it, but then not carry that through the rest, and it causes visual. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. It breaks the visual piece because people are like, "What's going on?"
Harmony,
Discombobulation.
I imagine.
Yeah.
I really, really love the poses and the energy in this.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to think of like a lot of drawing stuff in terms of like energy and structure. And your drawings have like amazing energy, and they look really cool and all sort of stuff. If you want to focus on anything, it might just be a little bit of like structure-y kind of stuff. Just like doing like breakdowns of, how different bits of the body fit together for your horses, and sort of making those a little bit more consistent across your stuff. Might kind of be where I would suggest sort of taking your things. I'm just doing some like random rough, going over the top of it. And everyone's structure of their ponies is different anyway, so don't take this as you need to do it this way or anything like that. But because the actual poses you've got to like look great.
Mm-hmm. I think that'll like Pixie's saying, I think with that it'll also help because I'm looking between Rainbow Dash and Rarity seem to have a similar body structure, but Pinky I feel like loses the loses the body structure a bit with her in a strange position. And sometimes that just comes from, you know, having issues with body itself. So we notice like here how the neck is this thick while Rainbow Dash is only that thick. Just little stuff like that with working on structural things can help you improve and pick things up and apply that to any pose itself.
Mm.
Not to say that there can't be visual differences when it comes to proportions of anatomy and such, but everyone to me seems like it's the normal pony proportions. It's not like, because I've seen Pinkie Pie interpreted as like, short and stout versus Rarity can be long and elegant, and Rainbow Dash is just, tiny and speedy.
Aerodynamic.
Yes. And those are totally things that I think are really fun to explore, and I love seeing artists explore that. But for a case like this, unless and please feel free to correct me or tell me otherwise, this feels more just it's a different pose, so therefore like anatomy, because it happens to me all the time. Sometimes anatomy just gets a little zooped up because it's a different pose than all the other ponies. But yeah, keeping that stuff in mind can be helpful to improve the overall piece.
Yeah, just helps your ponies look consistent between each other, pretty much. Like all three of these ponies look super cool, but there's little bits and pieces that are a little bit inconsistent between them, and just focusing on like the very basic structural stuff will help.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very tiny
aspect.
thing, but Maze just pointed it out and I can't not see it. I think you missed the shading on the tail here. Oh, I don't have a layer?
I got you.
I think you just missed, maybe you have it like, you have it as a mask layer and you only have it for the body. It's very bright now that I see it. Blame Maze. Maze pointed it out.
Jeez, Maze.
He does a lot of things.
Maze also was talking about the eyes. I can totally see it when I'm zoomed out to see the whole picture. Especially if I'm a little bit extra zoomed out. Rainbow Dash's eyes look huge compared to Rarity's when I'm zoomed out, which I think is mostly because Rarity has a white coat, and so my brain, when I'm zoomed out, is only recognizing her actually blue part as her eye. So I guess I'm not sure what could be done. It's like you could give her bigger eyes. You could give her some extra thick eyelashes.
Which pony?
Rarities. She does have smaller eyes than Rainbow Dash, but it looks even smaller when you're zoomed out, because the white mixes in with the
white of the eyeball itself.
Yeah.
Mm.
mixes in with the coat color, and all you can see is the blue part. At least that's what's happening to me, and I think is also happening to
It's a very
Maze.
subtle. It's a very small difference, though. It's not like a big drastic thing. And a lot of the times I see these sorts of things in art where like something just like kind of bugs you a little bit. It's like, oh, I don't think it's like, and your brain starts trying to justify it, but then it's like it keeps bugging you. And usually in those cases, if you just like change it a little bit, it's
Oh yeah,
not
I'm
going to
not
go
saying
so
this is
far the
like,
other
oh, you have
direction
to
that
go
it's.
fix your drawing now.
No,
I'm
yeah,
just
it's
thinking, like,
done.
this
Then just
thing
let it be
bugs me,
done.
and
But,
how would I fix it now?
yeah, I'm just saying,
Because
like,
it's not an easy thing, like, oh, your eye shape is wrong, or it's like your arm anatomy has too many joints and it looks broken.
yes.
It's not as simple as too many joints. It's more like she has this coat color, you can't get around that.
Yeah.
And eyes are white, at least in Rarity.
Yeah, I'm just trying to give like a more general piece of advice. Like sometimes there's something where it's just like this kind of bugs you, and it just if you think it's fine, and your brain like tries to justify it, and then every time you look at the piece, like it just is sort of nigging you in the back of your mind, and it's like, I don't know, like maybe this is wrong, maybe it's not. If something's like kind of poking at you a little bit, sometimes it's a case of just changing it a little bit towards the direction that you think it should be, because then you don't have to go so far that it goes the other directions, and it could actually be a problem. But usually in that case, it will be sort of more in the middle, in that sort of perfect center where it needs to be in. And if you stop noticing after that point, then usually it's fine.
Yeah.
So maybe
I
it's
just
worth just poking it a little bit.
I'd just push the contrast a little bit, so just adding like the tiniest bit of like white, something like that.
I would
Can just
maybe
help
make
expand it a bit.
this chin go a little bit up, make her face a little bit smaller. When I'm already just hiding with the background color and just drawing on top, then it's not super big changes. It's just tiny little changes that maybe will help the eye. So it really help if I knew how to if the eyedrop tool was working, but it is not. So nice smudge. See if that helped at all.
Yeah. Don't be too scared to overlap things. Just like, you know, with two forms and they have this sort of sense of sort of overlap here and all that kind of stuff. Overlapping stuff is really good and cool. And especially having like sharp overlaps on things rather than having everything be like pretty smooth and all that sort of thing. I don't know. It's a good picture. It's a good drawing. And I love the rendering on it.
Yep, I really like the textured brush.
Me too.
Hmm.
Again, so good. This rainbow dash shine on the nose, like, I just love that little piece.
All right, shall we move on? I'll take the silence as a yes.
Ah.
All right, next up we got a picture by Migobu. It's Applejack and Rainbow Dash. Heart. They need a heart.
Yeah, I like this picture. A whole bunch. I like it because it's a really interesting sort of style that we don't see too much.
The eyes remind me of stuff you do.
Speaking of eyes, I would have them make eye contact. It just seems like a nice moment for Applejack to be looking up at her, being like, "Oh gosh, she's so cute," and Rainbow Dash is like, "But it hurts." So to get that eye contact between the two, I think would just emphasize the feelings, because personally to me, when I first saw this, I couldn't tell if she was laughing or blushing, and she's just kind of like looking at the chest.
Mm-hmm.
It reads better to me that if they're like, "Oh, she's so cute," even though she's hurt, to make that eye contact.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I thought Rainbow Dash was Applejack was laughing at Rainbow Dash getting hurt. It's like poor
Yeah,
Rainbow.
see, that's
It
what
seems more like she's like,
Because I
oh,
thought she
she's
was
blushing.
looking at the
Yeah,
stick
it's
up.
just like the eyes don't. Yeah, I think that was sort of meant to be the intention, but it just doesn't really.
Well, see, the
Doesn't
blush
really land
here,
there.
the blush here. Now I could be wrong, but the blush here tells me like, in
Oh,
like the
because
sort of slitted eyes, be like, "Oh, it's kind of
Yeah,
cute."
the way
usually.
I got that was she's forcing herself not to laugh, and that's why she's blushing.
Ah.
So it's a lot of the time when the blush in cases like that will just be on the cheeks. The fact that it goes over the nose is
Yeah.
usually like a more intimate thing. And yeah, I would definitely if she was like just cracking up, then I'd have like the
I
mouth
would
is sort
have
of like
to do
this
yeah.
because she's like trying to clench up, trying not to laugh and everything. But sorry, Sleepsy.
No, you said exactly what I wanted to say.
Yeah, I did too.
I also feel like, okay, this is probably getting way too deep, and I'm sorry about this, but I also feel like Rainbow Dash would not be going to Applejack all sad like that unless she was like okay with a vulnerable moment. You know what I mean? Like Rainbow Dash would not be like, "Ow, it hurts. Do something about it." She'd be like, "No, don't look. I'm not in pain." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, absolutely. She could be sort of like looking off to
Oh
the
no, all
side.
the unicorns are gone. They can't take my thing out. Please, Applejack, you're the only one on Pinkie Pie, and she's not gonna help.
If RD was like looking away, then it could be more like reluctant, like fine, because she's a very proud horse.
Not finished. I think that's just the
It's
style.
missing that black line. I think that's what he's saying.
Yeah, but I think that's not a mistake.
I do really like the coloring they did for the tail. It definitely...
Yeah, oh my god, that coloring
That's
for the tail
fun.
is horrendously, like, amazingly awesome. And I love it. I don't know why I
It-
said horrendous. It was just
You just were so excited. It's okay. Like no,
Yeah.
really, it's so cool. Like especially, it's so fun to see Rainbow Dash's hair interpreted, and I think that works really well with your like ink style as well and your just proportion style. It feels nice.
I was just doing another option. My layers just do not want to cooperate.
I'm just experimenting, don't mind. It's just
I think that with the two buddies, RD is really kind of sort of angular, and Applejack is kind of sort of thing. I don't know. I could see RD being a little bit more. Actually,
Aerodynamic.
yeah.
so this is
I
experiment.
could see it being either way.
Okay.
It's just something that like popped into my head that maybe like
Mhm.
switching those could be interesting, but maybe keeping them as is also interesting as well.
I've experimented a little here with just showing RD looking a little bit more like if she was more reluctant and like pouting and stuff rather than looking vulnerable. Just as an idea, this isn't something you have to do. It's good to explore and experiment with what's possible with different expressions. Why won't you let me turn this layer off?
Ooh, yeah, that's another good idea. Going back to the expressions, like if it was like Applejack laughing, I don't know. I guess people when they're holding in a laugh squint, but I'm also like thinking like they could also be like wide-eyed, like oh my god, that just happened. I can't laugh. Oh my god. Like I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Little crinkly nose.
Yeah, the thing is, if RD was sort of staying true to
And
her
like
more,
the
more
dilated, like the undilated pupil where it's like really tiny.
oops.
Yeah, like that one. I didn't even see that.
Alright, shall we move to our next one?
I was just giving another little experiment down here at the side. Was like, if you did want to go for like the idea of RD being all true to her sort of proud and stubborn nature, she could sort of be going for like an eye roll, so she sort of has her head turned away a bit more. Whatever, I love that.
I mean, I can see what happened with the blush there, because like I do this every time I'm doing a blush, like just a tiny blush. But what if a little bit more blush?
Yeah.
More blush.
It really says a lot that we're commenting all on the expressions and the poses and like how they're looking at each other and all that sort of
nitpicky
stuff,
things.
rather than like, you know, here is how the arm should go and all that
Yeah.
sort of stuff. 'Cause-
Yeah. Cause like I do enjoy the style. I enjoy the way you shade it as well. Like I like how you have like these little extra lines. It's very like here's the bulk of the shading and then a few extra scritchy lines, and I think that's like a nice touch to go with the style.
You built up a good style. Next time you submit something, let us know if there's any style stuff you want us to like look at in particular.
Yeah.
Because I love this style. Yeah, it'd be
There we
cool
go.
to see if we can help give you some ideas on refining things or not or whatever.
Yeah, buddy.
There's my little experiment.
It's an amazing picture, and I love it a whole bunch.
My experiment is just a ghost haunting haunting Rainbow Dash with giggles.
Imposter.
It makes me think of that meme where it's
She's
like
blowing a raspberry in her hair.
there's like a person and they have their picture taken all nice, and then there's like the creepy photo of them enlarged on the background with like a weird face, like Applejack all sweet looking, and then like secretly internally she's like laughing.
Yeah.
It could be what it is. I was over here like, oh, there's a ghost blowing a raspberry in Rainbow Dash's head, but, but I could totally
I
see
went a
that
different
being-
direction.
I'm all good as long as there's a ghost somewhere.
Yeah, we're giving you options as to whether to make AG more blushy, whether to make her more laughing, and if she is laughing, whether to make RD more like bashful or more vulnerable or whatever you're trying to do. It's fun to experiment. Oh no, it's a vampire.
Yep.
Nom.
She's munching.
Munch, nom, chomp, chomp.
Silly.
Okay, LD, you can leave us now. I'll erase my message.
He's definitely being called out. Just like, Zom, stop! It's not a war march to art. Alright, the last one submitted is this one. It's a horse, of course.
Is his name Mr. Ed?
Unfortunately not. It's Perry W. Charge.
It's a very interesting name.
This is by CYZK85. So 85. Redrew my OC again and gave him a name. They also post like their previous drawings that they did over a while, and apparently the previous ones were done back September 8th or 9th. And then this one was done now. I'm just going to fire this at our voice chat just so you guys can enjoy the quality improvement.
Oh, I love this.
Woo.
I always love looking at how artists changing. Sorry, I'm doing exactly what CPC is doing. We're teamworking it. Look there, perfect.
Your limbs have become a lot more limb-like. Your wings, definitely. Get it. It's so good. Get it so good.
I need to get to the voice chat.
Oh, you're the same person that did that. Okay, I would
I
not have even
remember.
caught that because
Yeah, I
there's
remember
such a difference in terms of.
There is a lot of
Glow
glow up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Biggest problem to me with this one is that these sort of like knobbly bits in the knees here. Where's my pen gone? Okay. I can't really figure out what it was you were trying to do there. Maybe you're trying to do sort of a muscly thing. It sort of works a little bit more in the back here because it kind of goes in line with this. I need a different color than what whoever else was doing. It kind of goes in line with this shape here, but it's just got this like extra nubbly bit, and the bit at the front here does that as well. So if there's a specific reason for that this OC needs to have these, then like okay, that's absolutely fine. I'm going under the assumption that it was just you trying to work out anatomy and stuff, and that's absolutely okie dokie. It is usually with the ponies, typical anatomy, their legs sort of just go down in a straight curve like this. Not a straight line, they're not like cardboard tubes, but it's a smooth curve.
Yeah. I pretty much just move this wing forward a bit. Just because I think when I'm thinking about where the wing is placed, I tend to think of like here's the shoulder, and then the sort of wing connection shouldery point is like kind of above it.
Yes.
Around about roughly, kind of, sort of. And I also just made the shape a little bit kind of more slender and aerodynamic kind of thing. Like, starts out with this huge bulge at the back, and then everything sort of goes into this sort of point, almost.
So the original picture had already sort of gone that direction compared to what they have in the MLP proper. So it's just sort of improving on that, I guess.
Yeah, and so you can see similar sorts of things with like the way that these wing lines work rather than something like that. Just everything sort of like pointing towards a point somewhere around here, and with like very, very slight sorts of things curves just to show that.
It feels weird to me to see the wings with the feathers going in like a straight line. So I mean, it's still a curve. This like inner feather part being basically like. So I'm used to with MLP. So you have one small, one medium, and then one big, which I just did completely wrong, like this, and it's sort of like in an arc. So I'm used to doing it that way, but it totally makes sense. It actually looks more like a bird wing.
Either way, it's okay. With the general sort of body things, with the neck, I just added this like little tiny bit of like here's sort of the jawline, and then there's a tiny bit of like connecting stuff there, and it just helps solidify the sorts of shape, make it look a little bit tiny bit more connected. If you're doing like full shading and all that, you'll usually have like some sorts of thing there, and this whole area will sort of just be like a connecting bit. I pulled the neck over a little bit just because this width was like a tiny bit too wide, so just like made that a little bit shorter. And we pulled the hock up here, just because you'll tend to have this whole. Let me choose a different color. You'll tend to have this like whole torso as sort of one shape. Then you'll have the thigh, something like that, and then you'll have the thing coming off there. And so the hock will tend to be somewhere up a little bit further, and it'll tend to be a little bit more explicit, at least from like looking side on, more explicit of like this sort of shape. When you're like looking more front on, you'll see this kind of like interesting sorts of like shapes sort of developing, something like that. There's the belly and all that sort of stuff. But when you're looking side on, it's a little bit more simple.
I use this bones. Oh, that is not a good color here. Purple on the purple horse. This is the bone structure I use for it. That helps it all, and then normally there's an extra little joint here. Actually, in horses, you'd have the reason it's just kind of floating here in the middle of the butt is because in horses you'd have an extra bone that then connects it to the spine. But I normally ignore that part and just do the useful one. It's nice to know why it's just floating there, but usually I don't actually need it to place it. But this is the structure I use. And when you work with real horses, there's a few more joints because they are weird little alien creatures. Not little, very big. But for MLP ponies, this is what I usually use.
Kind of similar to like humans, where you'll have like the whole
so
hips.
this would be your upper leg. This would be your after your knee. This is your knee, and this whole thing is your foot. And this is your toes. And then horses usually have an extra one here, which is a hoof, and because they walk on their kind of like on their toenails.
You'll see those really scary looking pictures of like humans where their skeletons are like changed to look like human, to look like different animals, and yeah.
So
that's...
all things that aren't bugs are the same thing, just organized differently. Reptiles, birds, and mammals. Did I forgot one of them there? No.
Yep.
I'm talking about land ones. They're all the same thing. They just organized different. So if you figure out how they're organized, you can use a similar skeleton with different proportions.
You've got inside here, you've got like the rib cage, which is pretty similar to ours, and a bunch of like the front assembly stuff here is similar. And yeah, it's just everything's a little bit stretched, a little bit different, and depending on how long they've been around, things have changed around them.
The most ridiculous things is that whales also are the same thing, reorganized. They just fuse a bunch of things, which is not very efficient.
That works for them. I also pulled the front of the muzzle in a little bit, just a little bit. When you're drawing this shape, actually, this jawline sort of thing here, I like to have like a tiny little bit of like a this curve sort of this way, and then somewhere around here you have like it comes up explicitly, and that's sort of like the jawline sort of thing. I like that just because it's what I like doing. As you sort of as you go and as you like try out different different 3D shapes and all that sort of stuff, something that can be pretty useful is to like go over your own picture and then try to sort of break it down into different little shapes. Let me use a different layer. Break it down into sort of the different little shapes. Like here's a cylinder. It's like draw the boundaries of it and that sort of thing. Here's like a sphere sort of thing, and we'll have like here's like some of the contour lines around the sphere. Here's like some weird half triangle, half wingy sort of shape, and let's like draw the contour lines around it, and just like breaking down the different bits of the body in these kinds of ways can really help you understand a good understanding of your own drawing in terms of 3D and how you've laid it out and all that kind of stuff. And I also do similar sorts of things on top of like other people's art because it helps me understand how they've structured theirs, and then I can steal things off their art, and it's good.
Something that might be useful when you're doing these types of lines is to do I have the right color? Yeah. Is to do the whole I have the right do the whole ellipse, so you're not just doing a straight line accidentally, you're actually doing the volume of the shape. That's also why sometimes it's better when you're doing the face to do the whole thing than to just do the little thing up here where you actually need it. When you're further on, when you're quite used to using them, sometimes you can just go wee.
I'll tend to start out by drawing all of it, and then I'll just like do a very quick, very simple sort of erasing in this like I'm pretty much I just have the eraser and I'm just going over it like that, and it's just like making a little thing there. So I'd say yeah, it's back there, but it's like maybe that's useful. I don't know. You can see it a lot on my Reddit red lines. Actually, I'll do that a whole bunch on people's stuff.
All right. We don't have any more posts. If anyone else has any art they'd like to submit, please fire it towards our faces at this point. Otherwise, we'll be calling it a day.
Would you like to look at a non-pony?
Hello to the ghost who just entered my room.
Non-pony wax?
I am not a ghost.
No, my door just opened and it was definitely just latched, so... Ghost.
It's a cat.
I don't have pets except for fish, and if they're coming into my room...
It was a fish.
Still a cat.
Wait, I want the fish. I want the fish to just, they're jumping out saying hi.
Hey, if you want some fish, please take some of my fish. I will even give you a full fish tank with filter and everything. The fish are way too horny and making way too many other fish.
I'm not quite sure how much the shipping would be to get here.
Lots!
I asked before I was rudely interrupted by a ghost if you'd like to critique a non-pony creature.
Is it yours?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we can do the non-pony.
It's sending.
Ah! Okay, we're back.
It might be huge. It might actually be tiny, because sometimes Discord just makes it tiny.
Is it the snail mail?
It's not the snail man
Aw.
mail. I kind of want to make that a sticker now.
Oh, that's adorable.
Like an actual sticker.
That does make the most sense to make that a sticker and send it, like, on mail.
Yeah.
Yo!
Like, you
I want
seal
also
the
to
mail
make a
with it?
pigeon mail now.
Oh, man, an entire line of just very slow-moving mail things. Do it.
I
I'm gonna
don't
make a cat mail, and it doesn't actually deliver mail, it just eats your letter.
Your letter has bite marks on it and a hairball in it.
It's a cool snail now. There it is.
Are you dropping your picture in here?
Yes, it's in voice chat, because I went to the wrong place.
Yeah.
It's
That's
so
a file.
good.
I don't
Alright,
know.
I'm gonna just drag a bit and also send the one that's spaced off.
Do you want this one critiqued or the other one?
No, the other
first
one.
one.
The
Okay.
first
It's
one.
good.
The first one is new. The other one has been done a year or two ago.
Alright, that makes
Two.
sense.
One. I'm not sure. Two.
Explosions.
In the past, it's been
In the past. Who knows how time works?
In the year 212121. When
How many
giraffes
21s
were
is
little.
that? That sounds like too many 21s. Basically, I'm looking for such as like, do all the limbs look proportion? Is one of them super fat? Things like that, because that happens sometimes.
Listen, they just got really jacked. It's fine.
Only on one leg.
Well, it's you know those arm wrestlers where they just get the one huge arm and you're like, that looks lewd. And you know, y'all have a little joke about it, but then they just like crush someone in an arm wrestle and you're like, ah, those people. But this person
The other thing is also it's like anything with the lettering. Like I feel like probably this one needs to be changed, and I need to separate it and make it more like this.
So
Yeah, I think so.
how come some letters have open, like your do and D and O on don't are open, but then the E on give and the A on fluff?
I think they
Close.
just forgot to erase that.
That is just my. I just selected the outside and I flip it, and some of them got selected, some of them didn't.
All right. Well, your face is adorable. I do notice both eyes are different sizes though. Like this one is oval and tall, and this one is round.
I see.
I'm not sure what you're going for there. I'm a fan
Well,
of the oval.
it's usual for that to happen in terms
like
of like
the-
the bend around the face, but I think maybe
And-
it's a little bit extreme, just a tiny bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's just a mistake.
I would
It's
just
just the I didn't flip the canvas problem.
Also, ear through hair or hair through ear. I'm not quite sure which direction this is going, but there's. two letters.
It's also just it's a sketch. It's gonna look.
Okay. All right.
I mean, if as far
Whee!
as arms are concerned, this is a sketch. I'm not sure, but this tangent,
Yeah.
the way this arm's popping
yeah.
out, I feel like it
I'll
would.
give a little help as I go, explaining my sketch.
Well, even
I
still,
see what you mean.
yeah, it looks like it's coming out from here, where this one actually has a little bump of the
Continuation.
shoulder. So, like, pretty much this one's just missing the shoulder, so it would come more at an angle than just like straight in.
Let's see, this one goes here. This one would go here. Oh, I think this one would go here.
At least like somewhat, or maybe even move the elbow position down a little bit to meet the angle.
Oh.
So like
Yeah.
that would be my guess.
This knee or that leg right there. Is your goal to be like in line with the body, or is that like sort of propped up, like cross-legged, sort of up in the air and off to the side?
Yeah, imagine it's just like the other one is just like half bent, and that one is just like coming down from the body, and this one is like going up and then down.
Okay.
But
Then-
towards us, right? Like up and towards us, down. Sort of like if it was sitting like cross-legged, like it's kind of going out
Yeah,
sideways.
a little
Yeah, yeah.
bit, because like the circle is like this. So it's like the I'm making things with my legs.
Yeah, that's how I interpreted that.
Oh, I think I actually made the circle the wrong way around.
Well, a circle's round. I don't know how you get a circle backwards.
I think I made the plane of the paw the wrong way around.
Yeah, I do notice they do have a bit more junk in the badonkadonk. Is that stylistically done, or is that just because it's the end of Halloween and now there's extra treats?
They ate too much candy.
It's Terry's chocolate orange season. They can't get enough.
I thought it was Christmas, but fine.
As soon as they're on the shelf, it's in season.
So all
Which
year
is
round.
everywhere, all year round here.
Because that's a smart way to do it. Because
Yes.
why are you putting oranges in Christmas? Something more like this, or
That green line. I think I would actually
green line is
pull
me.
a little bit more away from the chest, just a little bit, like from the front of it, and
Leave the
leave
back
the butt.
same?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because your hip flows into your back pretty smoothly, unless if you got big bony hips, and I assume their fluff makes up for a lot of the definition of bones and muscles, because they're a walking fluff monster.
Yes. The ICH is called I don't give a fluff. Fluff is very important.
I'm glad to see a return of this concept. I still want to get a t-shirt made of the one you drew with my raccoon.
No, that one is old now.
No, I still like it.
Now, I do have a question about the intent of the picture. So I understand it's a UCYCH and your goal is just to pump it out, but the pose doesn't really resonate with the text that's going with it. I see like a person just sort of chillaxing, but not in like a, fuck that sort of way. It's just like, I'm posing for this lovely picture sort of thing.
Yeah, I guess maybe a smug expression would help a bit.
Yeah, that's just
because I did want to give it a little hand on the cheek, kind of like look at me, but I did not give the expression the same. I mean, if you look at the other one that I posted, which is where this one originated from, I did not have I did more of a cutesy thing.
Yeah.
But I want this one to be more on the smug side, but I don't think I pushed that enough.
I think if you're going for a bit more smug, you might want to put that. I know you're trying to put it off to the side of the cheek, but bring the paw more forward on the cheek, and give it a little smirk. Maybe even just use the thumb against because you do 3 fingers, right, with yours?
So, yeah, I do 1, 2, 3, and then a dipped thumb. Perfect hands.
If you're to represent one as a thumb and put it around the pointing towards the base of the jaw, and the others sort of up on the bottom of the jaw, sort of making an 80s cool kid pose. Wham!
I'm not sure I understand.
I want you to take your hand, and you're gonna.
Okay, my hand.
Okay.
I have one of those.
I'm
gonna ignore that the pinky exists because that doesn't exist.
Yeah, you're gonna use your thumb, index finger, middle finger. Those are gonna be your 3 fingers that exist on your character here. You're gonna take the crux between the index and the thumb, and you're gonna stick that right into your chin. Okay.
Oh, I see now.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's gonna be difficult.
I know.
Yeah, that's kind of meme pose.
Meme pose.
Yeah.
I mean, that is this picture.
Yeah, that one.
There you
Also,
go.
I gotta say, I just googled 80s
I like that.
kid poses, and I love all the results I'm getting. They're all great.
80s cool kid pose.
So I think with this pose, I'd have to actually move the shoulder further down, and then have maybe the top of the arm showing, or no arm showing, maybe.
Just the top bit. So you'd have that front of the arm, and then you just have the bit of the muscle toning and shoulder above it. Unless if they're popping their arm up, which is weird.
I just noticed the hit or miss. Oh, that killed me.
I think I need a darker color. This is why I waited for the end, because I'm just gonna be like trying to fix it now, and then it's like, how does this look now? Now
think
no one
you
has
having
to
one of the
sit through
artists
that
in
in the
there.
recording. It's fine.
It's still on the recording.
Oh, sorry.
Also,
I'm
I don't know
making it very
who.
long.
I'm not sure who drew this snail, but I made it better.
Also
That's
put it
That's
to play.
amazing.
Oh, it's
didn't
it's
see
wearing
that?
a mask. Good job.
I stand this
It's great.
snail. Can you give it an I voted sticker? Let's just get it all the faces
I
covered.
think it needs a knife. Alright, I said I was gonna
Both
stay away
walking on
from
the mask.
Twitter. But,
Don't go on Twitter. No, stop.
No. Mm-mm.
okay, but all the cats with I voted stickers on the forehead. That is a
great.
reason to go to Twitter.
All right. Anyone else have any art they'd like to submit? Any other questions they'd like to ask?
Any other
Cool kid poses they need.
yeah, cool kid poses. Let's just talk about cool kid poses.
Any other fluffs they'd like to give?
I wonder
Yeah.
what happens if I search 90
No fluffs.
cool kid poses. All right, let's see what the 90s look like compared. Oh wow. You can tell the instant jump of cool kid poses changes from the 80s to the 90s.
I know a lot about the 80s. I watched Stranger Things all the way through.
Like, 90s cool kid, we have a mix of punk and, like...
Grunge and like
Mm-hmm.
Disney Channel sitcom starring children.
Lots
You
of
went there,
jean
man.
shirts.
It was different.
I got the Power Rangers show up as my fourth picture, so...
Yeah, cool kids.
Okay, I have a problem now.
Uh-oh.
Okay, are we still recording? I don't need to have my
Yes.
critique recorded.
Alright, then we're gonna call it a day. Thank you all for coming, and we'll see you again next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
See you as I
Yeah.
waste everyone's time for another 2 hours.